watching it, but I'll keep you guys posted about what's going on in Togo. You guys not doing much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Sierra Leone, they just finished the runoff of their presidential election. By the way, they've been on it since March 7th. Apparently, there was mass rigging during the first election on March 7th. In fact, the electoral body reported that there were more votes than the number of voters that were registered at 231 polling stations. That's like massive rigging. Now, this apparently happened at the ruling party's stronghold, which makes a lot of people say that this ruling party is not ready to leave power. So the present president has served 2 terms, so he has to leave. The thing that upsets a lot of Sierra Leoneans is the fact that the president handpicked his own successor. Can you imagine? So this is the man that the president handpicked, 66-year-old Samura Kamara. He was the former governor of Central Bank in Sierra Leone, also the former minister of finance, and since 2012 he's been the minister of foreign affairs. He's running under the president's party, that is All People's Congress, APC. The trouble is that the president has recently made himself the chairman of his party for life. And as the chairman, he can do and undo. The way it works in Sierra Leone is if the chairman of the party fires a member of the party, that party member has to step down from his or her office. If this man wins the election and he refuses to cooperate with the outgoing president as the chairman of the party can just fire him. That means he will have to step down as the president of the country. So a lot of Sierra Leoneans are like, no, this man is looking for somebody that he can control. Keep in mind, by the way, that people are not happy with this outgoing president for the last 10 years. A lot of people have asked all kinds of questions. What happened to the Ebola money? You know, people donated millions of dollars during the Ebola outbreak. Not only that, the mudslide that happened in Sierra Leone, people are asking, what did you do with the money that was donated? So there's been a lot of corruption issues. Meanwhile, this is the opposition candidate, 53-year-old Julius Maada Bio. He's a retired brigadier in the Sierra Leone military, and he has participated in 2 coups. He was part of the 1992 coup in Sierra Leone, and also he was the leader of the 1996 coup, during which he became the military head of state from January to March of 1996. He also ran for president in 2011 against the present president, but he did not win. His present wife is Gambian, by the way. Shout out to Gambian people. Okay, so I would never advocate for coup anytime, any day, and I don't think that military should take over. So the first coup, apparently a lot of Sierra Leoneans applauded the fact that he was part of that coup because they overthrew a political party that had been in power for 25 years. The APC government wasn't doing much for the people. A lot of people were complaining that they didn't fix the road, there was no running water, workers were owed salaries, and also the education system was nothing to write home about, as well as the economy. So some Sierra Leoneans were actually celebrating that the army took over at that time.
Down with corruption, down with the APC regime.
I think the soldiers took the right step because nobody was going to uproot this system that had oppressed the people for the past 2 decades.
So the problems of the last government could be summed up briefly as one which condoned corruption, nepotism.
And he did this under the National Provisional Ruling Council, NPRC. That's a military junta government that overthrew the APC government. And it was a bloodless coup. And then the second coup that he participated in was actually when the military was supposed to hand over to a democratic government. They were getting ready for the general election in 1986 at that time. They were supposed to have a multi-party election. However, according to him, he found out that his boss in the army was not willing to hand over power. That was why he staged the coup to overthrow his boss, and he made sure that they actually had a democratic election. I respect the fact that he was only there as the head of state for 2 months when he could have said, I'm not going anywhere, or give me 6 months to get the election ready, and he handed over to a democratic government. However, he is still not my #1 candidate because when I had him speaking in some interviews, I was like, dude.
Education is not cheap. You can't just say that by blocking up these holes, you can actually pay for free primary and secondary education.
We have worked the mathematics.
But what's your ballpark figure?
I cannot put that now, but I have worked the mechanics.
I was like, dude.
Surely it's 3 months to election.
No.
You should know how much it costs to educate young people.
So what we have done is, what I don't have here as I sit here now, like I cannot just speak or I can't just give to you, is the exact number.
Get it together. By the way, he was the one that won the March 7th election, despite the fact that the ruling party rigged in 231 polling stations, and then the result of the election was cancelled. A runoff was fixed for March 22nd, but that did not happen, and then they postponed it to March 31st. So right now we're waiting for the result of the election. Sierra Leone is about to get a new president. I'll be sure to keep you guys posted on the result of this election. You guys now don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So my picture of the day is all the way from Niger Republic. Shout out to my Nigerian people. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a good look, take a critical look. This is a general hospital in Niger. Father, I'm not talking about a private hospital, as in Niger, a country of 7 million people. Obviously they know what they are doing. And when will other African leaders learn? Father. Nigerian president, for example, spent 3 months at a London hospital. I was so sure that the moment he went back to Nigeria that he would revamp our healthcare. It is a lie. The devil is still a liar. Now he wants to run in 2019. By the way, do you know that the former president of Togo died on the plane on his way to Paris for treatment? As in, these African leaders, they don't have common sense. They refuse to learn. The man died because he didn't build a good hospital in his own country. You would think they would learn from that. It's a lie. His son was the one that took over. For the last 12 years, you would think he would build one good hospital in Togo. He still did not. Now Niger is telling all its officials that no more medical tourism. You see, this is what we need across Africa. Kudos to Niger. I love the outside. It looks so African. And then when you enter, it's so modern inside. You guys don't know much. Guess what? I'm just giving it. So did you guys hear that the president of Botswana stepped down ahead of the 2019 election? I was like, what? That still happens in Africa? The man stepped down for his vice president to take over, and the election is not even until October of next year. I'm like, Father, that's like a year and a half to the election. Of course, people have been celebrating this man because that just doesn't happen in Africa. No, at least not every day. Some African president will be dying like this. They will be dying, and they will still not want to step down. Not be so. But while some people are applauding this man, the only problem is the vice president that is taking over right now. He's also running as a candidate in 2019, which means that it may become hard to defeat him because he would be an incumbent. Somebody told me from Botswana that this doesn't mean anything though, that they still have smooth transition of power regardless of the fact that the incumbent is also running. And they were telling me that this is how they do it in Botswana since independence, that every time they're having a new election, that the present president will step down a year to the election and his vice will take over while they prepare for the election. That means that they may still defeat the incumbent if people do not want him. But if people want him, then he will be the president. And then I found out that the opposition is usually sponsored by the government. And I'm like, how does that work? I can imagine that the government will probably give more money to their own party than they will give to the opposition. So that's the only dilemma that they have right now. The fact that the opposition may not be well funded like the ruling party. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. You guys don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Alright y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out.